Okay, welcome everybody to the 10th episode of Mahogany Thoughts, a podcast that's dedicated in providing voice to Black professionals, Black people in the Black community in general. We focus on areas ranging from 5 different issues, from economic, healthcare, financial independence, education, as well as employment. Today we have a special guest, Dr. Danielle Peebles. She's a chiropractor. She has a doctorate of chiropractor. And we also have the co-host, one of the co-hosts, Mr. Terrence Butler. Mr. Butler, what's going on, man?
Oh man, I had to bring my tank top back out. It was I'm enjoying the weather. So I got to sit outside after this is all over.
Yeah. I see you out there trying to be out there like Big Swole and Big Swole in what you call it, in a leather seat and stuff, man. Like old boy from what you got, Luke Cage.
Oh, yeah. That show was actually fire.
Yeah, hey, Cottonmouth, that was my guy, man. It's like I gotta get me the Cottonmouth collection.
Right.
Yeah.
I've never seen an actual chiropractic session, or have I been to a chiropractor. So I'm definitely interested in seeing the process and how the whole thing works.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, I'm looking forward to it too. I had told her, so I'm going to have to get myself an appointment because my back is barking, so, but I don't want her to know my secrets. Too. Yeah, I don't want her to know my secrets like Alicia Keys or huh?
I said, it's definitely a problem if your back is barking instead of your feet. We really got to fix that.
Oh, you don't want to look at my feet.
That's not right at all.
Yeah, my feet look like talon claws. It looks like the last battle between the Thundercats and Mumra. My feet look rough.
That's really unfortunate.
I think most men have been looking feet. My feet look like I've been kicking rocks and walking on fire all my life.
I'm telling you.
Oh, wow. Well, see, at least I don't charge extra for ashiness. I don't charge extra for, really rough feet. I just stay professional, get it done.
You
it's not
might.
a problem.
Don't say that.
Don't talk to me on the sidewalk, though, and bring those dogs out. Then that's Danielle. That's not Dr. Peebles.
Hey, no joning the patients and stuff, man. You got to still get paid.
I don't joan patients. No, they joan on me, though. I don't know what that's about. But we don't joan. No, I just take care of you and, I pamper you and make sure you're right. But that's Dr. Peebles.
Absolutely. Yeah. So look, we very special podcast, and before we actually go into it, we're actually as we've done the last several podcasts, we're trying to find different ways to expand our access and the technology and capacity. So I did ask Dr. Peebles to do a live adjustment, and she's going to do that after we kind of go through the interview portion. We have 3 patients that graciously agreed to be on the live podcast, the live stream. They've already, signed their disclosures and everything like that, media releases. So if anybody's looking to sue or whatever the case may be, we already got it covered. So, so that part's taken care of. Before we get into that, it's been a crazy week. We had an election, and, right before we decided to go live, I just know that I got an alert on my phone and the sun shined a little bit brighter today, so, I'm not really a big Joe Biden fan for real, but, by the end of the day, I just want civility. I'm tired of the nastiness, the ugliness that's going around in politics. It's just the fact that in our lifetime, just to be able to say that at 44 years old, I could see the first Black president and the first female Black vice president, or just the first female vice president, period, in our lifetime. Just seeing how we was like back in 1965, 1970, 1975, 1995. I mean, they was, Rodney King was 1991, and just, and the list goes on. You look at Ferguson, you look at, Trayvon Martin, you look at George Floyd, you look at just all the stuff that's going on, and to get to this moment, it's very optimistic and stuff. And it's just like I had said privately to some people that, Trump has excoriated Black people in a variety of ways for the last 4 years, but isn't it fitting that the Black vote did him in Pennsylvania? So shout outs to Philly all day. So I'm a Philly fan for the next 4 years. Just anything Philly. I might give me a Philly cheesesteak in honor of the brothers and sisters in Philadelphia that represent it. But the Black vote, by the end of the day, they probably won't talk about it, but the Black vote was the reason why Donald Trump was officially out of office. So shout out to just, people on the camera everybody that's listening, people who listen later and stuff, we turned up and we showed out, but there's still so much work to do. We'll talk about that later in future podcasts, but let's not rest on our laurels and stuff. I mean, because we did that with Obama, and the Tea Party and everything else came in, made changes, and it's really a great feeling. It's really a great feeling just to see his sister, one of the Divine Nine, because I know Dr. Peebles is a SG Row, Butler's a Kappa, I'm a Sigma. It's
We have a Zeta here. In
we got to
that
say,
class.
oh Lord, what up?
Let's go
Oh, we got blue and white love. Broke me out of my whole speech.
Alpha Kappa Alpha.
Okay, we got AKAs too. I mean, look, we
That's
representing.
Mrs. Bell.
I'm very honored.
To let you know.
I'm honored to see Dr. Peebles, and she has been a very inspirational person for me, and knowing that we can be pain-free regardless to our age. And she's a great professional.
Absolutely.
Okay,
It's
my
just
makeup to stay good, Mrs. Bell. I need my makeup to stay fresh. I'm very emotional. I cry on the dime, okay, on demand. So
well, we don't need you
thank
crying
I
on screen.
appreciate those kind words.
We definitely don't need to be crying on screen, on camera.
I know, because it gets real ugly.
Yeah.
We have a lot to
Oh,
celebrate.
you got the ugly crowd. Uh-oh.
Yeah, let's not get
That
that that Denzel Washington heave ho and that Menace to Society, my man, when he was talking to Kane, he talking about, I thought you was my dad, and he had that long slow teardrop.
Yes.
Yeah, we don't need those right now.
Makeup streaks with it.
Absolutely. A little bit afterwards. Butler, do you have anything to add week-wise, anything that kind of stood out? It could be about the election or just, financial or anything in general, stories to share?
I'm very interested in seeing how we as a people approach this new regime. I want to see how we're going to hold them accountable for actually having a Black agenda. Things specifically designed for the empowerment of our people. Since, like you said, our vote definitely put him in the office, so that we didn't hold his feet to the fire before the election. And I don't know what kind of power we have in this next 4 years, but I'm interested to see how we're going to hold his feet to the fire as far as with bills and different legislation that benefits our people, because honestly, he owes Black people a whole lot due to the crime bill and everything else that went forward. He owes us. So I want to see different legislation, different prison reform, different grants available to Black businesses and things like that, so we can kind of level the playing field somewhat economically. So I'm interested to see, is he going to at least try to make up for a lot of the damage he's done with that legislation. So I'm just all ears and patiently waiting to see what's going to happen.
Yeah, I agree with you and stuff. And the same thing with Vice President Harris. I mean, I know what happened in the late 90s, or the mid 90s and stuff with everything she did in California, but that was a different set of circumstances in Cali, So, I mean, if you ain't been to Cali before, or anybody listening to Cali, they know what's going on in the 90s and stuff. I mean, was it a little bit, over the top? Possibly, but, both of them, one thing I do respect about it is that they both admitted that they made mistakes and that they're open to make overtures to fix those, mistakes they've had. And we're kind of interested too and stuff about, how it's going to increase, Black home ownership, because that's solely needed in building generational wealth, as well as providing assistance for renters. And that's very important too, because, lost in this entire conversation is that there's millions of people that still don't have a job. There's millions of people that are on a cusp of losing their homes, and there's millions of people that are about to get evicted. So, hopefully we can get some kind of stimulus going to kind of keep people afloat and, make whatever the changes. Dr. Peebles, do you have anything you want to add? Thing you learned for the past week?
No, you've all covered it. I am just currently just waiting and seeing and just hoping for the best, praying for the best, and looking forward to what they bring to the table. I have no expectations. I have expectations, let me correct, I do have expectations, but at the same time, I feel that I will be able to receive the results better if I have a little less expectations and allow them the room to do what they do, and then I can make a sound judgment based on what I see.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, like I said, we brought Dr. Peebles on the podcast for this week's episode. Today's recording is November the 7th. I met Dr. Peebles at an event hosted by Dr. April Warren Bryce back in February. It was actually on the day that Kobe passed, and I remember folks were stunned, that day. I know you probably remember that day too. It was a really good workshop. If I recall correctly, it was about trying to bring Black educators together. I met Dr. Peebles almost when we were passing out. We had to do intros about what we were doing. She talked about her book. Her book was intriguing. She'll talk about that. And then also it was just some areas where we were really compatible, and we just wound up becoming more than just colleagues. We became friends. And so there's a lot of areas where, we stay in constant communication, encouraging each other and stuff, because, the reality is blacks with doctorates, whether it's a PhD or a doctor or a chiropractor or a medical doctor or a DBA, there's not too many Black doctors, So just to be able to have that type of connection, and that's how I approached it to her. I said, I don't know what I can do to help you at that moment, but at the very least, we can start building a network of Black individuals who have their doctorates, just where they can, share the resources. It's like I said, a digital Black Wall Street, so to say. Like if she knows that there's, she has any kind of questions about taxes, laws, finances, business advice, she can pick up the phone, text, got her back, and vice versa. So very dynamic individual. She's also an adjunct instructor at Logan School of Chiropractic. Is that?
Not at Logan, at St. Louis College of Health.
St. Louis College. I'm sorry.
Logan.
We're going to strike that from the record, so I screwed that up. But before I do that, another twist that I'm doing to these podcasts, as we're doing a simulcast, is that I try to add like a perspective by having a brief presentation. And so I'm going to share this screen before we get into the formal introduction. And like I said, the beginning of, actually the title of the show is Sex Sent Me to the Chiropractor with Dr. Danielle Peebles. Interesting. Okay. So
that sounds like a rap hook.
Well, like, oh yeah, I know, right? Yeah, Young Buck and G Unit and everything stuff, right? Okay.
At times I listen to them.
Ain't nothing wrong with that. So if anybody wants, the PDF or actually the presentation slides and stuff just for informational purposes, that's fine. The reason why I, do these slides and everything is just to kind of, we want to be able to not just speak on it, but to be able to visually show the paths that people take. So, like I said, we want to try to get regular people, real people onto our show and be able to kind of provide some insight for listeners or, their children, if they're trying to figure out what to do to college, how it gets there. Because in the end, today you see a lot of young black girls that can look up at Vice President Harris and see that they have an opportunity the same way that brothers were able to look at Barack Obama as becoming president of the United States. So, we're making significant cracks in that proverbial ceiling. And it's just nice to highlight, people that you see, like I said, in a grocery store, in a salon, in the mall, in a lounge, or just driving right past you. You just never know what we can do. Chiropractic care in its profession. Something that was really interesting, that only 2.3% of U.S. chiropractors are Black. A commission was completed in 2007, which had advocated for an increase in minority chiropractors due to minority population comprising more than 25% of the nation's population. I have a healthcare background, and it was really interesting to look at these numbers. That 10% of the nation's nurses, 6% of the physicians, and 5% of the dentists are Black. So that really stood out to me and stuff, because when you look at it, especially in urban populations or dense, metropolitan cores, you usually see a lot of Black nurses, you see a lot of Black aides. You don't really see too many Black dentists or physicians, but I was really surprised that the numbers still remain to be relatively low when you look at, at the potential for earning power in those type of professions. So this is something I had to learn for myself about chiropractic care and its profession. You know, Butler, I mean, I guess when you look at this slide and stuff, I mean, were you aware that, you know, chiropractors actually do, you know, therapeutic exercises, stretches, and they provide diet and nutritional counseling as well as lifestyle modification counseling? I was not aware of that. What you think?
No, I had absolutely no idea. Like every time you bring these up, I learn something. Like,
Yeah, I know, right? In the research, I'm learning
just
something
think of a
too. So,
chiropractor. I just think of going to get your neck cracked, going to get your back cracked. I mean, that's my limited knowledge. So, no, it's very interesting to know.
yeah, absolutely. So, I kind of knew about the therapeutic exercises, you know, because I was also in workers' comp for 15 years. So I was able to, you know, look at some chiropractic notes, but we don't typically in workers' comp, they don't deal with chiropractors because they rather have to go to therapy and, you know, and blah, blah, blah. And there's a lot of reasons for that. But I do understand in other insurance related practices that chiropractors are heavily used compared to maybe on the physical therapy side. But like I said, I wasn't aware that the chiropractors actually do PT modalities, meaning the type of treatments that you see maybe at these larger retail therapy clinics, that the chiropractors are more than capable of performing that particular type of functionality. The lifestyle modification counseling, that kind of made sense because, you know, based on Dr. Peebles' book. So I thought that was interesting as well. The other thing we're doing with these presentations is, and as part of the simulcast, is to talk about how to obtain generational wealth. So it all goes back to how we're able to advance ourselves as a people and identify particular opportunities and jobs that we could possibly do. So one thing that I really hate hearing is that college is not really helpful. College is an access to opportunities. It's not a guarantee for opportunities, but here are the people who did take advantage of it. This is how they benefit. So a chiropractor can be a job creator, an entrepreneur, an instructor, or operate a multi-site clinic. 55% of chiropractors, including our very own Dr. Peebles, have a solo practice, and they generate a natural referral system by repeated care. It's almost similar to like getting your hair done, barbershop, or maybe a mechanic. You know, those referrals are mostly self-generated. They don't have the advertising revenue, or they don't have the they don't rely so much on advertising, you know, heavily in magazines or billboards or anything like that. So a lot of it is network driven and then generated by referrals as well. One trend that you see is that there is an increase in the athletics. Chiropractors participate in the athletics based on an increase in sports rehab opportunities that's available from the pro level all the way to the amateur level. The ongoing path to generational wealth about chiropractors, for those who are curious, for those who are trying to say, hey, what can I do? The education required, typically, this is not across the board, but the typical requirements include to get a doctor of chiropractic degree. And to do so, you have to have 4 years in a doctoral program with at least 3 years of undergrad education. And that varies by state. Every state has different licensing regulations. Think of it like voting. Every state has different rules as far as counting mail-in ballots as well as in-person ballots and when they're reported. It's the same thing with these schools. Different states have different regulations. The experience required, you obtain it through clinicals and through internships, similar to maybe social workers or even some of the healthcare professions. In 2019, there were over 51,000 chiropractors were in the U.S. So if you take 2% of that, that's Black, you're looking at maybe less than 1,000 Black chiropractors in the United States. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, the job outlook projection for this particular field is a 4% growth with a growth of a projected 2,300 jobs. The median salary on BLS.gov shows that it's $70,340 per year, but salary.com has a median salary of 151,000 plus. And I believe that the only reason why salary.com is like that is because it's actually self-reported salary, and you're probably seeing it more from individuals who have solo practices or maybe those who have been who's actually been in practice for an extended period of time. So one thing to kind of clear up for those who don't understand how to look at these charts, when you see median, that doesn't necessarily mean that you can walk in with no experience and say, well, what do you think your salary requirements are? I need 150 racks. You can't do that. So, I mean, a lot of it has to go through experience. I don't know exactly how much experience it takes to get to that point, but the Bureau of Labor Statistics is a little bit more accurate just based on the way that they tabulate their figures and their survey methodology. One note that I did not include on the slide is the amount required to take out in student loans, but I rather call it as an investment. So the average investment to get a chiropractic degree is $110,000. And that's including your bachelor's as well as your doctoral program and any other related fees. And before you say, well, $110,000 is a lot, you know, like I said, you're getting $70,000 median. That's the median salary per year. So, I mean, that doesn't mean that you will make 70 per year. There are chiropractors that make 100. There are chiropractors that make $80,000 to $85,000 a year. So that $110,000 investment, you play your cards right, utilize whatever tools and resources available. You could probably minimize some of those costs of tuition, but also you have the ability to repay those your investment back. So, you know, when we talk about starting Black businesses, then you need capital and investments to start a particular business. Same thing applies as well with, you know, with your student loans. If you use your student loans appropriately and you find the right schools and niches, you can probably find a good way to make your money. Oops. So about our next guest, Dr. Peebles, Dr. Danielle Peebles. She tackles healthcare disparities through chiropractic care. She has founded her Pro Health Family Chiropractic Center in 2007. She has a BA in chemistry from St. Louis University, and she has a doctor of chiropractic from Logan University. And she is also adjunct faculty with St. Louis College of Health Careers. Some of her core courses involve mathematics. And she has one book published called Sex Sent Me to the Chiropractor. That is actually on Amazon. Sex Sent Me to the Chiropractor, which is the reason why we named this episode like that. She is also a member of Sigma Gamma Rho Sorority Incorporated, and she is also a board member on the YMCA O'Fallon Park division. And without further ado, Dr. Peebles, how are you? Peebles.
I'm only going to, as my friend, that you messed up my name. You did so well. Actually, I want to commend you on your research, on your introduction. You did a phenomenal job. I was like, well, there goes that check mark. I don't have to cover that. So excellent job.
Thank you.
That was a fine job you did on that PowerPoint. So thank you for doing our profession such a swell justice with your research and the information you provided.
Thank you, ma'am. So before we go into your personal interview and about your journey and how did you get to where you get at, Mr. Butler, do you have any questions for Dr. Peebles?
I guess one question I do have is, I guess as young people, when they think of what they want to be when they grow up, I don't think many people say I want to be a chiropractor. Right. So where along your educational journey did you move towards wanting to be a chiropractor? Well, I guess what kind of attracted you to that specific industry?
When I was very young, at the age of 6, I had already declared to my family I wanted to be a doctor when I grow up. And so my aunt, who is a registered nurse, she brought me my first stethoscope, and I still have that stethoscope to this day. Every Halloween, when they ask me, well, Danielle, what are you going to be for Halloween? I was a doctor. I was so happy and just thrilled about this concept of me wanting to be a doctor. And as I continued to grow and learn of the different opportunities as a doctor, I actually wanted to be a neurosurgeon. My dad said the word medulla oblongata to me one day. I can't even tell you what the conversation was, but my dad said that word to me, and I was like, "Ooh, what is that? I like that. It's a big word. It sounds fancy." And when I researched it and realized it was associated with the nervous system and dealing with neurology, I was like, "That's it. I want to be a neurosurgeon." So for years throughout high school, I took every opportunity that I could that would push me toward my dream of being a doctor. So I did all kind of opportunities of but volunteer work at St. Louis University Hospital. And I made sure I took opportunities that kept me on my path because I knew what my vision was. I wanted to be a doctor. A lot of different opportunities came my way, but I learned early on to say no to some of those opportunities because it was going to take me away from my dream of being a doctor. So as I said, I wanted to be a neurosurgeon for the longest. And as I was moving towards, I had taken my MCATs, I was getting prepared. I was in my senior year at St. Louis U when I started to reevaluate, because I'm very big on values. You can only make your best decisions when you are assertive in your values, or if you're aware of your value system. And up until about the junior year of undergrad, my value system was in the following hierarchy: career, family, and then everything else. But as I moved towards my junior year, my value system started to change. A lot of thanks to Lifetime movies and The Hand That Rocks the Cradle. But I wanted to then make my value system family and then career. As a neurosurgeon, I was aware that I was going to spend a lot of time in the hospitals and away from my family. And after watching The Hand That Rocks the Cradle, I said, I do not want my family, my children, my husband, I don't want my family to know the nanny better than they know their mom. So that made me start to reevaluate my career choices. I still wanted to be in the field of neurology, but maybe there was something else. So actually, I became a mentee of a lady named Mrs. Valois Roche. She was on the med campus for St. Louis University, working with the Office of Multicultural Affairs. I had done a summer project with them. And she asked me, she pulled me to the side, and she said, Danielle, what do you want to be when you grow up? I said, I want to be a neurosurgeon. I was all proud. And she said, okay, do you want a family? Yeah, of course I do. She said, do you realize how many hours you're going to put in to being a neurosurgeon? I said, yeah. And that does kind of bother me. She said, well, have you ever thought about being a chiropractor? No, but I do know my back needs one. My back is killing me. She said, well, consider chiropractic. Just think about it. And then she connected me to a fellow, well, not a fellow, but a faculty member at Logan at the time, Dr. Bell. She's not there anymore. Bells have been in my life for a long time. But Dr. Bell was an African-American instructor at Logan at the time before she retired and left. And I had lunch with her. So speaking with her, doing my research like Dr. Duncan did, I was like, oh, this is exciting. And I was just bawling with anticipation, boiling over with the excitement that it gave me as I researched and learned what it was about. I said, well, maybe this is it. So I, never having been to a chiropractor, never have known a chiropractor, I signed up. Now I'm already on track for St. Louis U Med School, MCAS, everything done. I'm getting ready to literally graduate within in a month or so. It was like February, March. So I'm getting ready to graduate in May. And I applied to Logan, and it was smooth sailing in. Everything just rolled right on in. They were actually ready for me to start classes the Monday after my graduation. I was like, whoa, I just finished undergrad. I need a break. Is that possible? So I didn't start for the summer session. I started the fall session. So that's how I came around to wanting to become a chiropractor and falling in love with chiropractic.
Gotcha. My oldest daughter, she wants to get into the medical field, but she's trying to choose between a few. So that's kind of what I wanted to know, how your decision process went. She's trying to decide between sports medicine or being a pharmacist. I think she mentioned something. She might have mentioned chiropractor as well, I think. But she's trying to make a decision herself. She just knows she wants to be in the medical field, just not sure exactly which part.
Yeah,
a lot of people, even medical doctors, still don't know what exactly they want to specialize in when they get into medical school. So she still has time.
Gotcha. She's a senior now, senior high school now.
Okay. I wish her well.
Appreciation.
Yeah, it's really interesting and stuff because, like I said, the research is really fascinating. Just trying to understand more about yourself. And like I said, I know we talked, numerous times on the phone, through chat, text, whatever. And I just never realized like what all it took to get in there. You see chiropractors and stuff, but you just never sit there and think, oh, okay, well, this is a particular field. that, provides that particular opportunity for African Americans. And I know that my son, my youngest, I know I'm trying to nudge him into the healthcare field. I know he's only in 8th grade, but, in the long run, I do want to kind of keep an eye on some schools for him and stuff, and hopefully get into an HBCU, because I'm really big on that. But I think it's really interesting for you to share your perspective and your story. And what is the address? Because I had your name of your business, but I didn't have the address of your business. Would you mind sharing that with us?
Yes, Pro Health Family Chiropractic is located in the Central West End of St. Louis, Missouri. We're at the intersection of the Butler and Delmar. We're located in the Delmar Loop apartment building, pardon me, on the first floor in their commercial suites. Our address is 5621 Delmar Boulevard, Suite 106, St. Louis, Missouri, 63112.
Sounds good. And there's phone number you'd like to share? You have I have your personal, but do you have your professional phone number for people to reach out to you?
Actually, that's the professional one.
Yeah, mine too. So don't feel bad. Yeah.
I was like, I was gonna say, what kind of friend am I? I only gave him the professional one.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, by the end of the day, that gets kind of expensive, and there's a lot of ways. You know what? I answer the phone one way or another and stuff. I always answer.
I'm always in professional mode. I spend a lot of hours in my day in professional mode. Yeah. So that's the quickest way to get me. But the phone number is area code 314-607-9150. And I do have a website, www.stlprohealth.com, all one.
I can tell you have two voices. I can tell you have a professional voice and a personal voice by the way you enunciate.
She speaks
that
so
code
well.
switching, I can't shut it off.
Yeah.
Friends my auntie actually has a nickname. Her best friend gave a nickname to my professional voice, Daphne.
Yeah.
So he said, so Daphne is in the scene, Danielle's here, Dr. Peebles here. Who are we talking to right now?
Yeah, that's for sure, man, because I know I'm always, I teach online, and I got like 10 or 11 classes now. And so I'm always, being responsive in Dr. Duncan mode. So half the time, I actually, it's like my brain's stuck on Dr. Duncan mode when I'm talking and stuff. But yeah, I do cuss like a sailor, though. That's for sure. I got to work on that and stuff. But I don't cuss at my students, so that's a great thing. That'd be a bad look.
It's just
for those, right? I know, right? But I tell it like it is. So for those who did not get a chance to catch that information, I will provide it on my website and a podcast page, as well as the YouTube channel, because we actually have a YouTube channel that's dedicated to Mahogany Thoughts, Dr. Terrence Duncan. And also, if you look up Dr. Terrence Duncan on Spotify, you'll actually see access to all of our recordings. And we'll also have, Dr. Peebles information in there. And but for those who, excuse me, you are taking new patients, right?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
Yes, I am. We're taking new patients.
Cool. So the number, once again, is 314-607-9150. And the name of her clinic is the Pro Health Family Chiropractic.
Family Chiropractic.
And it's located in the Central West End for those in the St. Louis area. 5621 Delmar, Suite 106, 63112. So once again, we'll definitely update the event page and all other deliverables that's related to this particular simulcast. So I know we got an adjustment.
Also,
go ahead.
To refer you to some of my clients as well. I'm an insurance broker, and when they getting access and things like that, sometimes I have to go to the chiropractor. So it's good I have a direct source to one I can refer them to now.
Thank you. Thank you.
And see, that's how it works, though. I mean, that's what, I have a belief and stuff that, I don't know if we can ever have the infrastructure to rebuild a physical Black Wall Street, but we can definitely create a digital, virtual Black Wall Street and stuff where, we really emulate what happened back in the 20s and, in Harlem and everything and other little spots like Durham, North Carolina and whatnot. And we can be able to share these networking and resources and stuff. And just like how, Dr. Grice had her workshop, and that's how I met you, Dr. Peebles. just that particular, just getting on something like that, hopefully will drive more referrals to your company as well as Butler as well.
Vice
And
versa.
have that, have that cross sharing and information and stuff. So that's pretty awesome to have that work out. We have, so Dr. Bell, is her first name Alice?
Alice Bell.
That's what I thought. Hey, Dr. Bell.
I have known Danielle since she was very young. She has been excellent as a student, excellent as a human being, person that cares. She listens, and she doesn't separate her profession from who she is. She enjoys helping people.
Absolutely.
Get confidence in knowing that she is listening to your concerns and she address the needs of your body. I call her gifted hands. She knows exactly what is going on with your body, and it's just amazing to be in her space. That image of chiropractic has to shift because of the greatness of her profession. Her practice is awesome. Many of my family members and friends have gone in to see her, and they're convinced, I didn't know I could feel like this. I was convinced that I did not have to have any pain in my body. We are wonderful people. African American people should connect, encourage each other, because we are gifted, and that network grows stronger as we support one another. I'm here to support her in every way that I can, not just because I like her, but because she is a professional. And I want to thank you for this opportunity to highlight her practice.
Well, definitely appreciate that, Dr. Bell. And actually, I hate to put you on the spot magically and stuff. How long have you been in the profession? I know he said that you're retired and stuff, but what was like for you coming in as an African-American doctor?
Oh, let me interrupt.
Not a doctor.
Oh, I thought she was a doctor.
Oh, no. So let me make the correction. There is a Dr. Bell, but then there's this Mrs. Bell who's a patient. And then I have other Bells. I have a bunch of Bells, but this is one of my supportive Bells, but Dr. Bell could not join us today.
Okay, so there's Bells everywhere.
So I apologize. I forgot, I didn't think about it until you said something. I was like, oops, I did say Dr. Bell, but Miss Alice Bell has been as she said, a supporter. She's seen me grow to who I am today, literally has watched me from my developmental years in elementary all the way up until now as I continue to grow. I am not done growing. And I thank you for those very generous, very, very authentic words that she shared with you. She could only be herself. So thank you.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome to actually have a patient, and it kind of goes back to that slide where it says, how do you get your referrals?
Yes.
So, it's, family, friends, and people that have known each other for a while. Because I, like I told you the other day, I just need to get a schedule, but I definitely, I leave my feet alone and stuff, but I could definitely get my back, to make that look.
Taken care of.
Yeah, I'll keep my socks on though, look.
Please, you can keep your socks on. Well, it depends. It just depends. I might have to drag those dogs out the socks, depending on if you have issues. But I look forward to that part of our session when we start adjusting, and I can demonstrate what she's referring to as part of me really being attentive and paying attention to what your body says, what you're saying, and I'll be able to share that with the patients that you did see in here earlier. They're going to come back in one at a time, and I will go through that and just give you some scenarios.
Sure. With them. Yeah, actually, and that's what I was going to say next and stuff. Let's go ahead and we actually have 3 patients, and Dr. Peebles and the patients have been graciously able to do a live adjustment and evaluation. So we're going to see what Dr. Peebles does, and then after that, we'll after her adjustments or evaluations, we'll go actually into her book, and that's how we'll close out the show. So. Dr. Peebles, I'm looking forward to this. So, I'm going to let you go ahead and just take the mic from now, and I'm going to put myself on mute and I might ask some questions and stuff, but I'm actually kind of excited about this.
That's fine.
So, yeah.
I like to interact with
Good to see this.
Oh, yeah, me too. Absolutely.
So I am going, Miss Aziza. Wait, they can't hear me. They're way. The only reason I took my mask off anyway is because they're in the front office. But I'm getting ready to go. Yes, and will you please? Yeah. So far, the first two I'm bringing in are, and everyone, the first three, actually there are 4 people that's going to join us today. I'll tell you about the 4th person. It's a real treat for this 4th person. But the first 3, the ladies that are going to join me individually are actually new patients. I have not ever seen them as a patient in my office. So I'm very thankful that they were willing to join me and allow me to demonstrate what I do as brand new patients. The reason I asked them to come in and ask for new patients versus returning is because then not only will it be a teaching moment for them, it will also be a moment for you all to see their authentic response to what I'm doing to them. I am a teacher, as he mentioned earlier. I am an instructor at St. Louis College of Health Careers. And at St. Louis College of Health Careers, I teach their courses. I have taught I've taught the anatomy and physiology, their biology classes. I've taught, and I teach mathematics. That's my preferred class. I also teach kinesiology at the school. So I'm very well versed in a lot of the courses. I prefer math because that is my heart. I love teaching math. As he had mentioned, my degree is in chemistry, but I also have a degree in mathematics. And so I love, my passion is math. But
what's
my passion is
kinesiology?
also chiropractic. Kinesiology is what I do in this office every day.
Okay.
It is my master's wanted to tap dance on my face.
That's all right.
Kinesiology involves the study of the movement of joints and muscles throughout the body. So I'm constantly doing kinesiology every day in my office, but it's also a joy when I'm able to bring my clinical experience to the classroom for the students at St. Louis College of Health Careers that are studying to be physical therapy assistants, occupational therapist assistants, as well as I share my experience with the nursing program there and the respiratory therapy, because we actually cross all those fields when we're treating our patient. And you're going to get a sense of that today as I read their body. One of the things I say to my patients in here is, oh, I'm a body whisperer. And they say, what is a body whisperer, Dr. Peebles, besides something you just called yourself? Well, in here, when I'm body whispering, yes, I ask you what's going on with you, I listen to you, but I also go to the body, because there are things that you will forget to share. Have you not gone to the doctor and say, oh, I forgot to tell her this? Well, in this case, I don't wait for you to remember. I go ahead, check the whole body, and I say, hey, this been going on. Oh, yeah, that has been going on. I forgot all about it. Because the pain that brought you in is the loudest voice you can hear at that time. Does that make sense?
Sure.
Okay. So the pain that brings you in is so loud that it will overshadow the other things that's going on, and you will forget to mention it sometimes. So I go find it and remind you, and then I go ahead and correct it. Okay.
Sure.
So Mrs. Ziza is going to lay down on this table, and I am going to first, you may just have a seat there. Now, when I say I'm body whisperer, I know you can't completely see her, but you can see her feet. And this is how new they are. Remind, what's your name again? Abby. Abby's. You see that? That's how, I didn't remember her name. I got the paperwork done. Half the paperwork with her name.
That's all that matters.
So,
and actually, before you start, for those who are not able to see the live recording and stuff, I wanted to kind of point out that Dr. Peebles is seeing patients during the coronavirus, and she is using all COVID-related PPE to make sure that she's protecting herself as well as her patients.
Yes, and speaking of making sure I protect my patients, every day, in between every patient, I wipe down all of my adjusting surfaces, tools, tape. I wipe down everything. My patients watch me wipe it down. Those shoes, these little hot chiropractic shoes, these accessories, they're not hot. I wipe them down in between every patient. And then every week I have a professional company come in and spray and sterilize every single surface in here, aerate the office, and make sure that my patients are taken care of. Even before COVID, it was not surprising to see me spraying down anything. I mean, you cough, I'm probably gonna spray you with Lysol. That's a joke. I don't spray people with Lysol, okay? But I'm always in just naturally wiping down surfaces because I don't care for germs myself. So I have Lysol on deck. I have my wipes. I have my sprays, everything. So this is not a new practice for me. I keep my hand sanitizer, my wipes here for my hands, as well as my hand sanitizer, and I wash my hands on a regular basis. So I do adhere to safety and keeping my patients safe and healthy. That is very important to me.
Absolutely.
All right. So we're getting ready to start with Mrs. Ziza. She has only told me that she has had back surgery. She has not shared anything because I didn't want her to. I didn't want her to tell me anything else that was going on with her for its pain. But I'm going to go through a procedure here that will assess her, and she will be able, and she can nod or say yeah or nay if I'm on target or not with what's going on with her body. Okay, are you all ready?
Absolutely.
All right. I'm trying to warm my hands up because this hand sanitizer can be quite cold.
Mr.
Now, the
Miyagi.
first thing I do, you say what?
No, I'm saying Mr. Miyagi was rubbing your hands together.
Yeah, really get
Right,
the energy going. Whoops. Yeah. So these shoes I put on her feet. The reason I put the shoes on her feet is because on the shoe there's a white line. You can see that on the screen. There's a white line on her shoe. In my office, I do practice 3 different techniques. One of the techniques is activator methods. The second one is Logan basic method. And the third one is diversified. Now, you may not have known that there are several different techniques in chiropractic. There's not just the adjustments of our hands. Most of you all call it cracking. And I was taught eggs crack. We adjust. So when we are adjusting you with our hands, that's where the name chiropractic comes from, practice of hands. So that's diversified. That's one of the main techniques that we are taught in school. But different schools are focused on different techniques that they may have been founded on. Okay. I graduated from Logan University in Chesterfield, Missouri, and in Logan, it was founded on a technique basic. Funny story, I did not know that tidbit when I started going to Logan. I was just excited that there was a chiropractic school near home for me to go. So just imagine when I found out what Logan Basic was. Logan Basic is a technique in which I can adjust the whole body, head to toe, by contacting the sacrotuberous ligaments. Loop my use my arm as a lever, and then I can adjust from head to toe. The amount of pressure that I'm putting underneath this ligament is the amount of pressure that you can put on your eyeball. That's how gentle that technique is. So I use that technique on babies, I use it on pregnant women, I use it on anybody. But that is, if I was playing spades, depending on if you're in Boston or not, if you're playing spades, that'd be my big joker. But the people I was playing Boston with told me the ace out-trumped the big joker. I don't know what's going on with that, but I have to play by the house rules. So this is my big joker. If there's a patient that comes in, so sensitive, have a hot low back and cannot be touched, I'll perform Logan Basic. And so I would demonstrate that on Mrs. Ziza once I do her body reading, okay? The second technique I mentioned was activator methods. Activator methods is a technique that I use a tool with. It is a spring-loaded blunt tip tool. And what it does is it gets right up on the joint space. I pull the trigger and it thumps it back in place. But the vibration of this tool is so quick that your body doesn't have time to react to it. Your brain can't react to it. So your muscles doesn't have a time to guard against it. But you hear the click. And when you get up off my table, you feel the difference, okay? And then the third technique, of course, was diversified. And I will not demonstrate diversified today because you all are very familiar with that, but I want it to be a teaching moment for you to be aware that there's more than 200 techniques, more than 200 ways for a chiropractor to move a space and correct your body. Wow. Okay, so we're going to get started. One of the things I do, especially with activator, don't help me, you're clean, just like that. I always approximate or bring the heels together like so. And this gives me a reading on the body. On this particular patient, her right foot is shorter than the left. So that is going to be the foot that I'm going to use to gauge what her body. But it's not going to give me the reading. It's not going to give me the information I'm going to necessarily, but I want this a tool to get there. So watch this. It's short. I'm going to bring her knees up. Notice that they're leveled. What that piece of information already told me is that I need to start assessing her from her waist down. So I'm going to go through and just check on her body. First thing I want to do is pressure test. It's just a slight swipe. I know it doesn't seem like I did much. I'm swiping her knees to see if it needs adjusting. If it needs adjusting, this foot will become even, but it didn't. It stayed uneven. So now I'm going to go up here and check her hip. I swiped her hip on the left. It's even. It needs to be adjusted. I'm not going to use this tool, but I just want to call out that her left hip on the needs to be adjusted. So now I'm going to put stress into the joint. I'm going to tell you some more about her body. Right or wrong, your left hip is an issue? Yes. Okay, did you hear that? She said yes, her left hip is an issue. Check this out. So what I'm assessing, and I'm still just doing a stress test, a little bit of pressure on her. Guess what I just learned about her body just by checking that? I just learned she tosses and turns all night long. True or false? True. All right, she tosses and turns. She got some hip issues. Her hips are sprained. Wow. But she did not know that. Well, I didn't know that. She didn't tell me. Lift this. Guess what else I just learned about her body? She has pain across the base of her hip, right at the top and the lower part of her back. Is that true or false? Yes. Yes, she said. Squeeze your legs together. Relax. All right. Push your knees into the table. Relax. Another thing that's going on with Mrs. Eva, she got a lot going on. I haven't even made it to her spine yet. She has pain in the front of her hip for her groin area. She also has pain from when she sits down for a while and stand up to try to walk off. True or false? Absolutely. Absolutely. She has not told me anything. Put your right hand behind your back, Mrs. Eva. I wish you could have seen how slowly she moved this right arm behind her back. Put that arm down. Left hand behind your back. She has a little bit more motion in this left hand, this left shoulder, but not as much. Put that arm down. Both arms behind your back, please. Both arms down. She's struggling with this both arm thing. Both arms down. What her back just told me is the following. She has issues going on with her ankle and feet. She probably has cold feet. She has some ankle swelling going on. She can have some pain in her legs. Her thighs is an issue. She has abdominal cramping, even if it's not her. Is that true or false? Yes, true. She just said, yes, that is true. Okay? Squeeze, I'm sorry, when I say twist your lip, not your lips, we ain't twisting lips. Twist your hips to the left, back down. She just twisted her hip to the left. She just rocked them. Not only does she have low back pain, she also has frequent urination. You gotta go pee all the time, that sound familiar? Yes. She can't go past the toilet. She just said, yes, she has frequent urination. Her back just told me that. She also just told me her knees hurt. Now, I haven't assessed which part of her knees yet. It's not necessarily the medial part of her knees, the inside of her knees, but she has knee pain. That also tells me that since she has knee pain, she has issues with her menstrual cycles. It's either super heavy, probably have extremely painful cramps, her mood swings are ridiculous, or her cycle is very long. She's laughing, so somewhere I'm on target. All right, that I'm just reading the body. I haven't even started adjusting her yet.
Oh, wow.
Go ahead and put your right hand above your head, left hand behind your back. All right, put it down, please. Put the right hand only above your head. All right, keep it up there. Take a deep breath and hold it. Breathe. Put that arm down. All right, left hand above your head. Bring it down. Both hands above your head. Both arms down. Push both shoulders back towards me. Good job, and relax. What her body just told me from those motions that I just assessed, which seemed very simple, One, she's constipated. Her bowels are stuck. So once, I usually tell the joke that if your friends say you're full of shit, you probably are now. So they were probably right. Maybe I shouldn't say but
Lord.
this is how it is in my office. So I will play with you just to make life with
good.
you so you can laugh at yourself.
Let's go.
But her bowels are not moving as easily. But the other thing her back just told me, she has some issues going on with her skin, super dry skin. She may even have some eczema flaring up, acne going on, a rash that may have popped up. As I adjust this particular area of her back, it will help those rashes and eczema clear up and be better. The skin will be more flourishing. It will be more, it will retain the water better. And she's also dehydrated. That's what her body told me. The other thing that it shared with me is that her adrenals are up. So her whole body is in stress mode. In addition to external stress, her body is in stress mode right now because her adrenals are working overtime with her. Now, other thing is, in addition to what it just told me from those several movements, is her body is in a state of anemic. Whether she's been diagnosed with it or not, her body is currently in a state of anemia. And so I can see that, and you're probably like, hold up, you didn't even do any blood work. But your body would tell you what's going on before it screams out for us when we see it. Go ahead and put both hands underneath your legs for me, under your thighs. We're almost finished with her body reading. Turn your face to the right. And you're going to keep it that way for the next several movements. Push your right shoulder back to me. Relax. Shrug your shoulders. Relax. Shrug and roll the shoulders backwards. Relax. Squeeze the right arm to your side. Good. Relax. Squeeze left. Relax. Turn your head face down. Lift your head, look up. Face down. Tuck your chin to your chest. Face down. Press your face down to the floor. And relax. Shrug your shoulders for me. Relax. I want you to glance down at your right shoulder. Just peep at it. Turn and peep at your right shoulder. Face back down on the table. Look up to the top right corner of the room. I know there's a lot of commands. Face back down. It gets easier. It's like a dance. Just go with it. All right. Turn your face to the right for me. I need to check. So put your right hand above your head. Bring it back down to your leg. Left hand. Bring it back down. She's struggling with these movements. She just exhales. She's turn your head face down. Put your head down and relax. Tuck your chin to your chest again. Relax. Now, what her body just told me in those last portions of the assessment are the following. She has indigestion. She may even have acid reflux from time to time. Is that true? Mm-hmm. She said, yes, she does. The next thing it told me is that she playing with grease. She eating greasy foods. Her gallbladder is a little upset with her. She been eating greasy foods. She been having trouble breathing. Right. All
that grease.
Did you see her there?
Nah, it's been a hot minute since I had some, but I'm just saying.
It's greasy. But she also has some phlegm. She's producing some mucus on a regular basis. She probably has to clear her throat, or she feels like she's going hoarse. That's going on in her body. She has shortness of breath, whether it's going up or down the steps or just sitting there looking at you. She has some short-windedness, but she also has shoulder issues going on. True or false? Am I on point or off? True. True. She said it's true. I knew she had shoulder issues when I was down in her low back because she struggled to put that arm behind her back. So I already knew she had shoulder issues. But now that I'm at the top with the nerve that goes to the shoulders, I am confirmed that she has shoulder issues. She also has some issues going on with her throat, probably with the clearing the throat, but she probably has dry mouth. Yes, she says. Her eyes having issues. She probably been dealing with some blurry vision lately because her sinuses are clogged up. Any nasal congestion going on? That's what that was? Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. She's been having some headaches or some pressure around her head. Mm-hmm. Some of it is on the forehead. Have you noticed any tenderness in the back of your head? Yes, ma'am. Have your scalp been tender? What? Yeah. You're having insomnia. And not only are you tossing and turning at night, but your body told me that it's painful when you turn it over. Yes. You having sharp pain in your midsection. She said yes. Yes. Her body told me all of that. But what I'm going to demonstrate on her is actually the Logan Basic adjustment,
Okay.
because I do all of them. So the Logan Basic, as I said, now I tilted the screen.
Okay.
Just imagine. Let me tell you how Logan Basic is taught to us. I need to drink the water right quick.
Yeah, sure.
Let me tell you how I learned about what Logan Basic was. Somehow I didn't include this in my research when I started to go to the school. We spend probably about 70% of our time as we're students, we spend about 70% of our time in patient gowns, wearing boxer shorts and a sports bra, because we're practicing on each other. Starting in week 1, we start to touch and learn the body parts. So we learn our classmates extremely well by the time we graduate. Okay, probably better than we want to know. But by the time we graduate, we have touched each other. We have practiced on each other. Plus we practice on other people. But before we even get to clinics, before we even get to the clinic side of things, where we're taking care of patients, we're taking care of each other and practicing and learning to find things. So with the Logan Basic technique at the school, it is taught skin on skin. I am not going to have her pull her pants down and do this skin on skin. Thankfully, she has pants that are thin enough, so I'm going to perform the technique through the pants. But can you imagine when I walk into class, and I remember an upperclassman saying to me, now when you go to Logan Basic, when you go to lab, do not volunteer. They told me this specifically, don't volunteer. And they say, anybody want to come up here and get adjusted? And I was like, why? She said, I'm not going to even tell you, but don't volunteer. I said, okay, I'm not going to volunteer. Imagine my face when I got up there and the student who didn't know any better volunteered, and the teacher had them to pull their pants down, and now they're sunny side up in front of the whole class. Just butt out, 8 o'clock in the morning, sunny side up, all right? Monday, Wednesday, Friday, just sunny side up. Can you imagine that for a whole semester? That's what you came in. The horror. I was like, oh my God, that's what basic is. And yeah, but it's one of my best techniques, even though it's not the one that I was ready for. So I'm going to demonstrate
one of those things in class, like where if you're in class and nobody wants to read, for example, and the teacher says if nobody's going to volunteer, I'm going to pick somebody. And everybody's like looking away, not wanting to go.
That never happened. I'm glad. That's never happened, actually. And I'm very glad that didn't happen, because, But no, most people volunteer. There was always someone, oh, I do it. They were so proud. And I was like, oh, no, I'm not getting up there. Clutch my pearls. So clearly I don't have no sense. I just crack jokes all day long. But so I did get through it, and I really love that technique. And it is phenomenal what that technique does for people when it is applied. So I'm getting ready to adjust her. Despite all the things that I found in her, I'm going to adjust her with that technique. And I'm going to continue talking while I do the adjustment. Now, I've already done this particular part of the technique before we got online, because I wanted to demonstrate to them just how quickly the body responds to treatment. Okay, so I've already done the sacral unlock. That's a part of the technique, and did the assessment that goes with it. But now I'm getting ready to adjust. And as I'm adjusting, I am getting ready to ask you, do you have any questions? I'm watching my stomach. Okay. Are there any questions for me so far?
No, I was just checking it all out and stuff. And just a quick reminder for those who may be looking on Facebook and wonder what's going on my page. This is actually a simulcast recording of the podcast. It's going to be put up on YouTube, Facebook, and everything else. We have Dr. Peebles, and she's about to do a live adjustment, everybody. So
yes, I'm currently doing the Logan Basic technique, which is just one of the techniques I do in my office. Aziza, how would you describe this technique and what I'm doing? Like, what are you feeling?
It's very light touch.
If you could hear her, she said it's a very light touch. Is it aggressive, or do you feel anything? Okay.
No, not at all.
All right. And what did you say about the things that I pulled out? What was your reaction as I was calling off things that was going on with your body?
There were a lot of things I had forgotten about, like they weren't as prominent as other things. I think it matched what you said about the the pain being the loudest, you forget about the other things that led up to that.
Yes, so whenever I'm doing this body reading for people, I do remind them, I may pull out information that you say, no, that's not an issue. And I remind them that it's either been an issue, but it's not something that's most pressing, or it's on the horizon. So at the same time that I do active treatments for patients, I'm also doing preventive care.
Okay.
Yes. Any other questions? What did you think as you were watching the assessment?
I thought you were spot on about a lot of things that I've just observed. And so to know that you can read that just by touch and not the blood work piece, it's like, okay, we on something here.
Mm-hmm. Yes, we study intensively in school to be a chiropractor. It is very, 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 very accelerated, and it is not a cakewalk at all. Our first semester, I remember when I was applying, my first semester, I believe, was 27 credit hours. And I said, yeah, 20, exactly. And I thought, I asked her, I said, do you mean
Hold on.
it's
I just
18,
thought
but you
about
gonna
that.
call it
Like,
27?
right.
She said, no, ma'am, it's 27. Oh, okay.
Damn.
What does that look like?
What are they, 1 week classes?
I'm from undergrad. 21 is like crucial. You're like, you're killing me with 21 hours. So what does 27 look like? I don't understand.
Right.
And she was like, yeah. So let me tell you what 27 credit hours turned out to be. I had 7 lectures. This is in 1 week, Monday through Friday. 7 lectures, 6 labs, 13 classes, 13 individual grades. That was my first semester. 15 weeks in 1 semester. You see, so it's very aggressive. So when I got past the first semester, they said, oh, you came back? 28 credit hours. I was like, wait, what? I mean, I'm almost done with 27. So then I came back the third semester. Oh, you still here? 29 credit hours. What? Oh my gosh.
That's rough.
Turn around. They said, you still here? 3 credit hours. I was going to school Sunday to Sunday. My elective classes were on the weekends. I was in school Saturday and Sunday from 8 to 4 on a Saturday.
Wow.
It's no
How many
easy
classes?
work.
Go ahead, Butler.
I actually have a question. And this is from someone who I don't have much knowledge of the medical profession at all, but I have a hard time believing that every chiropractor can do what you just did. So I'm calling you to go right now. Just how impressed I am with the way you were able to read her from having acid reflux to constipation to all of that. So you say she's possibly anemic too, and you literally did that in like what, 5 minutes, just walking around her, just to me like you just tapping her hip, doing that.
Yeah, that's exactly how most of my patients describe it.
I'm sure it was more technical than that. That's just how it looks to me. Just popping her.
Like boom, boom,
And at
boom.
this point, I'm like, why does anybody even need a primary physician if I can go to my chiropractor and get rid of it?
Ooh. Okay, we're not here to step on anyone's toes. We're just here to demonstrate and put chiropractic in the fabulous light that it deserves to be in.
Oh, absolutely.
That's definitely
That's
that's
just how
an all-fair question.
Amazing
But yes,
question.
so I'm gonna finish adjusting her with the basic technique. It's going to be a little quicker. I'm going to have her go back through these motions that she did, and we're going to get her response. Now, she hasn't even stood up yet. Well, let me check something else. I want to do something. Because I did that and adjusted her spine. I'm going to adjust her extremities with the tool, and we'll come back to that.
Man, it look like you stapling her or something like that, yo.
All right. Describe to them what it feels like.
I don't know, like the other side of a stapler. Like
You look at it, it look,
She just said
ooh.
other side of a staple. I just
It feels like
said.
a pop. It feels like a pop.
It feels like a little thump, maybe?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm thumping her. Some people call this my little pop gun
Okay.
because it sounds like it. And what I'm doing is, if I was teaching this technique, I would not go this fast. activators are probably cringing right now at what I'm doing, but I'm just on the sake of time going through this quickly. I just assessed her whole foot, all the muscles and joints in it, and I needed to get the heel. She's been having some heel pain. She's been having some pain on the ball of her feet, with her toes. Sound accurate?
Yep.
All right. I just adjusted her knees, the front. She's been having pain in the front of her knees, especially some popping. Probably her legs are giving out when she gets up or whenever she's walking upstairs.
Hey, like Butler said, man, you knocking this out, look like boom, 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 boom.
It really is. And I wish I could share with you how much information is flying through my head with just one simple movement. Like if I just touch her, I'm thinking about the nerve that goes to that area. I'm thinking about the muscle that's in that area. How does that muscle move? What is the direction of the muscle fibers? What's the blood flow to that area? All of this is running through my head like that every time I do a simple touch for you, okay? All right, put your right hand behind your back, please. How did that feel compared to the first time you moved it?
A little easier.
A little easier. Put that arm down. Actually, put that arm back up. I want to check it in another direction.
Oh, they was that good.
Her legs are even. So even she got a little bit more motion in her lower back than she realized. Put that arm down. Left hand behind your back. It's even. So that joint is back in place. And all I do is just hold the contact. Put that arm down. Both hands behind your back. Both arms down. That arm is moving easier and easier every time she moves it because now she can use it. She had to catch up with her body. Right hand above your head on the table. Excellent. Put it down. Both hands above your head. Put them down. Hands underneath your legs for me. Turn your face to the right. Push back right shoulder. Relax. Everything is lined up. Turn your head face down. All right. Look up in front of you. Face down. Tuck your chin to your chest. Face down. All right. Did you have a headache when you came in?
No.
Okay. She didn't have a headache when she came in, which is great. How are you breathing right now?
I don't know. I seem like I breathing fast.
It looks like your breath slowed down.
Oh, I thought.
Her body is more relaxed than she realized. So now I'm going to ask her to sit up. This is her very first adjustment with me, by the way.
Okay.
Yeah,
How you feeling?
I
What
got
do you
up
feel?
easier than I went down.
She got up easier than she went down.
Usually getting up is, I would have been like doing this hip shift thing to get up. It's harder to get up.
Okay. Stand up on your new feet.
Interesting. I can feel it in my hips too though. They're not I don't know, they felt heavy.
At first?
Yeah, it hit like stiff. Yeah.
So ma'am,
overall, how do you feel? Are you feeling lighter? Are you feeling taller? What are you feeling?
I feel longer, and I feel looser.
Okay, so let's talk about why she said she feels longer, she feels looser. The reason she felt heavy when she came in is because before we even get notification of pain, our muscles and joints are already trying to correct ourselves. Our body has the ability to correct itself on its own, but sometimes it needs assistance. That's where chiropractors come in. Her muscles have been working overtime trying to fix all these joints in her body. They pulling here, 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 and here. And so they're tight and they're tired. And she is feeling heavy because it's just filled with inflammation from overworking.
Hold on, can I say something? Yeah, I can see better.
I was going to ask you. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry, I get excited like this on a regular basis in my office. I'm like, yes, that's what I did. But okay, let me back to the fact.
I'm live stream at a church or something like that. I mean, it's like I can see better. Like, wow.
You found a dope, man.
Man, you hear me? Hey, I'm setting me an appointment up quickly.
Right. I'm tired of using reading glasses. I need to come through.
I'm sorry, what'd she say, ma'am?
I wear glasses. And so that's why I did this, because I'm like, did I have my glasses on the whole time? Because I can see.
Oh, wow.
This is crazy. My vision has been getting blurrier, and I was like, oh, I need to go get my eyes checked. I can see like I have my glasses on now. This is no. She's looking at the eye chart in the hall. She can read the eye chart. Yo, this is crazy. I was expecting you to do something with my body, not my eyes. Exactly. Oh. Okay. All right. Yeah. All right. I'm gonna believe her. So the reason I didn't tell her about anything else I was going to address with her is because yes, you come in, it's your muscles, it's your, you know what's aching you. But I teach my patients a different conversation to have with me. Now they understand that their aches and pains are tied to other symptoms that's going on with their body. Her neck pain that she didn't tell me about, her neck pain included her eyes being an issue. That's why I asked her, you've been having any blurry vision, what's going on with your eyes? Because the nerve is a band. One end of the nerve connects here and the other connects at the other end. So if I check here and I see an interference on this end, there's something going on at the other end. So I just go ahead and ask you instead of waiting on you to tell me.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Wow. Thank you for that.
And she's had back surgery.
Oh, did she?
She's had back surgery. So that was the technique. So that was Logan Basic. Now, are you talking or anything?
In pain.
She's just in pain. All right, so we're going to switch around right quick. And as I switch these patients out, are there any questions for me right now?
Well, I don't have any questions for you. I'm still observing, but I do want to thank the first patient for agreeing to be on the show like that. And that's, you know, I think that's pretty neat. You know, just to see, just to hear your testimony.
I have a question, actually. Now, what you just did here, are all chiropractors as gifted as you?
Like, can I adjustment, fam. He needs the adjustment.
We are. You should have heard the patient. That's why I'm laughing. We are all taught this information in school. This is what we're taught. This is what our education looks like.
Gotcha.
That's what you know.
I like to say I've never known. I mean, again, this is mind blowing to me. I'm probably just as wild as she is. I mean, she's more wild because she's like, oh, I can see. But just from my limited knowledge, I never knew how, I guess, detailed the chiropractic profession it was as far as being able to diagnose different issues in your body that have nothing to do with joints and muscles.
Yeah, absolutely. I know she's getting ready for the next patient, and you know, it kind of makes me think about when you have bad allergies, you get the allergy medicine. You know, if you have like a migraine or, you know, like even high blood pressure or whatever, you should be taking whatever that needs to be done to kind of lower it. And so, you know, it makes a lot of sense for, you know, if you have aches and pains or, you know, like we said in the slide about lifestyle modalities, I mean, just, you know, the first patient, she had back surgery and she wore glasses, and it's just, I mean, really, like, it was amazing stuff. If you guys were able to see the video, just her facial expression, just the fact that she was able to see more clearly. And I mean, that's beyond words. There's not too many things that can shut me up or make me say, wow, like really wow. But that was really a wow moment. So
I have one more question for you. For someone, let's say someone has insurance at work and they want to come to the chiropractor, what is, I guess, a standard copay? Or do you have to be referred from a primary? Or can I just say I want to come to the chiropractor?
In the state of Missouri, you do not have to have a referral to come to a chiropractor for your insurance companies. But the cost of your copay varies from policy to policy.
Right, I'm
so
sure.
You will have to have your, huh?
Oh, yeah, okay, yes. Just like
so
a
anywhere from, when you're looking at your benefits, ask what the cost is for a specialist. We are under specialists.
Okay.
So that determines it. So an easier idea for people like women, what did you pay to go to the OBGYN? That'll be about the ballpark of what you pay for chiropractor. Okay.
Just a quick question and stuff, because Butler and myself, we're on the other side of the river. So you're saying that for Illinois residents that we have to get a referral based on our health insurance, or we can just go over there?
You have to go by offices. In my office, it's a different process. But I can always talk prices outside of, because I'm not in a lot of networks. So it depends on what network you're in. And then you may have an out-of-pocket cost, but we are very flexible. We have a scale and we work with people.
Okay. Just
because
wanted to know.
your health is our concern.
Yeah, that was a great question, Butler, because that was actually on my list of questions to ask, because I was thinking, you know, the different insurance costs and whatnot. So basically, it's reasonable and affordable, correct? I'm not a woman, so I have never been to the OBGYN, so let the record show.
Correct.
Facts.
But it's like I'm not.
Yeah, I've never been there, so.
It varies. Ask the question again, sir.
I don't know how much it costs for OBGYN specialist appointments.
Oh, okay. So
30,
some
35
people
range.
Got it. Some people policies can range from free, depending on how much they pay for their policy, from $20 on up to $70 a visit. So it depends on what your insurance says.
Okay.
Okay. So
another quick question before you get started. You mentioned that you weren't in a lot of networks, I guess is with various insurance companies. So who decides? Yes. Does the insurance company decide if you're in that network, or do you decide if you want to be a part of that network?
We have to apply to be a part of the network. And then some networks only allow a certain number of chiropractors within a certain zip code to be in there. So then it becomes a tight spot to be even a part of the network. And then sometimes you could just get in. So it just varies depending on what insurance company it is.
Okay.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. All right, here we have Ebby. Now, one of the reasons I wanted Ebby here is because she tends to have not so fun menstrual cycles, which is one of the topics I cover in the book, Sex Sent Me to the Chiropractor, and we'll follow up more about that as I finish getting through them.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I'm going to read through her body. Right now, she's actually, is it okay if I tell them? She's on her cycle right now.
Okay.
And I am, if you don't mind describing, what is a typical menstrual cycle like for you? Symptoms?
Excruciating cramps, really bad lower back pain, a lot of leg pain, and just very draining.
Very draining. Mm-hmm. Now, although you could see the wheels turning in my head, but when she said a lot of low back pain, I know exactly where I needed to go to address her, especially for her cycle. The leg pain was a clue. She said she's very fatigued. That's a clue for me that not only is her low back not in line, but her neck is out of line. Those two curvatures of the body are similar in the fashion that they're supposed to be. So if one is unhappy, the other one is unhappy. And the curvature of the neck and the curvature of the lower back is connected to your parasympathetic system, whereas your mid-back is connected to your sympathetics. I know I'm using some words here that people don't typically use, but I'm gonna put it in terms like this. The mid-back is dealing with fight or flight.
Okay.
Your neck and lower back is dealing with rest and digest, okay? Rest and digest. So we're gonna go through. I'm not getting ready to do her whole body. Nope, that's not even how I operate. I'm going to do her whole body. Are you ready? And I'm going to adjust her with the tool.
Uh-oh.
So she's going to get clicked to death. Right. Click to life. I like
yeah, exactly. That. Yeah. It's like, this is not sponsored.
She is going to have a different reaction because her experience is going to be slightly different. And we're going to see what she feels. But yes, you're going to hear a lot of clicking with this one. So we're going to go through with the same technique for reading her body. But this time I'm not going to read everything. Oh, wow. That we already change up on her because her right leg is her short leg. But if you look in the video, then the left. But I want to make sure that is what it is. So I'm getting ready to clear her hips and make sure that's out. Okay, this left foot is going back further than this right. And it feels tight on the right. Does it feel tight? Yeah. She said, yes. This hip is locked up. I'm going to press down on her right hip. Press up under her ischial tuberosity on the left. I know I'm just naming terms because I'm in mode. I want you to move your hips like you're crawling. Walk for me. And relax. You remember how those legs were kind of jagged when I pushed them back? Even. Wow. They go back. How does this feel? She said,
Don't go to sleep on us now, Soror. And we're still recording live. I don't want to hear them snoring.
So in her situation, her back is her main issue. She has very extreme low back pain. The only thing she told me was about her cycles, because that's all I wanted to know about.
Okay.
Her hips, directly, her hips are not the issue for where I need to start. Her back told me go straight to her low back and fix me. That's what it's telling me. Okay. Then what does that mean? Is that accurate? All right. So I'm going to start with her low back. This is awesome. Left hand behind your back. Put that arm down. Both hands behind your back. Both arms down. Twist your hip to the left. Back down. Right hand above your head. Left hand behind your back. Both arms down. Let me tell you what else somebody just told me. She has a lot of pain on his left side. She said, So with this technique, I actually touch the back and go and find each individual joint in her body. So yes, I have the ability to go through your skin, no matter how much skin you have, and I can find the bone that I need to adjust. Every chiropractor is taught that. Every chiropractor is taught how to palpate is the word. Left hand behind your back. It is now balanced. But it's still shifted. So guess what? Put that arm down. Her body just gave me an idea that she has some whiplash in her body. You've been in an accident? Yes. She's been in an accident. So now, no wonder she jacked up. This other patient about to fall out like, how she figured this out?
And just for the record, Doc, this is not disclosed prior to the adjustment, correct?
Nothing.
Just want to make sure we clarify that on the
I
record.
just want to clarify, this is another patient.
No, it hasn't. I am shocked right now.
And she does not even know these people.
No,
So, I'm telling you, these people have not told me anything. I'm getting goosebumps because it excites me. It excites me to do this.
You might need to make this a TV show.
I mean, the way that we rolling, yeah. I'm intrigued.
This should really be a TV show on Oxygen Network or something.
Yeah.
I would sit here and watch these adjustments if I had let me go see what Dr. Peebles is going to read today.
Right.
I know, right? What we reading today? Right hand, why did your side so jacked up? At the same time. All right. So both arms down. What are you feeling right now?
A lot of, so the pain in the bottom of my back and kind of like shooting up and down the left leg.
She's feeling some discomfort. Push your hip to the left again, back down. Push knees into the table, relax. Now, just like everybody else in COVID, and this is something I've discovered with COVID, one of the things I've discovered during COVID, because we're doing so much more sitting, Netflixing and chilling, not jilling. People have had issues with this muscle, the psoas muscle. Hers is no different. I need to adjust her psoas muscle, which is in the front of her hip. Squeeze your legs together, buddy.
What's the name of the muscle?
So, I kid you not, they got that muscle right when they named it. It's a very, very uncomfortable. It starts on the inside of your thigh, comes up the front of your abdominal, wrap around to your back. No wonder you can't walk. Roll up on your back for me. I'm gonna shoot her up in it though. It's gonna go pow, pow, pow. Hopefully she don't do like this on the table. That won't be.
Please don't. You know, we don't. Halloween was not a couple of weeks ago. We don't need no exorcisms.
Listen to this. Was it tender?
Yes.
It's tender.
Yes.
That's why I say they are right when they called it the sore ass muscle.
Wow.
But it's spelled PSOAS muscle. Look it up. Yep. She didn't know it was so tender. I just caused fast twitch in that muscle. Relax, roll over. Now the muscle is going to release. Don't worry about it. The muscle is going to release now. It's going to be easier for her to move. Right. Did you see how she looked like pancakes?
Yeah.
By the way, I go to a chiropractor too. So we'll talk about that later. Put the right hand above your head only. All right, bring it down. Take a deep breath in and hold it. Put it on down. I know my activator enthusiasts are cringing right now. Left hand above your head. Bring it back down. My shoes are trying to steal the show. Both arms above your head. Both arms down. Push both shoulders back to me and relax. Oh, another thing I meant to say about her. Her blood pressure has been doing some stuff.
Oh, hell no. Now you need to shut your ass up.
She told me to shut my tail up now. I done did too much. I told about her blood pressure. She's like, hold up. That's my business. I didn't know that much. Hold up. Yeah, you thought it got away from me.
Doctor just told me that Thursday.
Her doctor just told her about her blood pressure on Thursday. I did not know that.
Nice.
Right hand above your head. All right. Ooh. Put that arm down. Left hand above your head. And you notice that they're not stressed out as they're getting adjusted. Put that arm down. They're still laughing. That's what it is all about in my office. I laugh with healing. You do not have to be angry. You don't have to, you always feel miserable. So I bring laughter and enlightenment to what is going on with you. Both hands above your head. Both arms down. Push both shoulders back to me. Relax. Notice that they're all down. All right, put both hands underneath your legs. Turn your face to the right. A little strain when you take the head. Push back right shoulder. Relax. Shrug your shoulders. Relax. Turn your head face down. I'm just going through. Look up in front of you. Tuck your chin. Relax. So, relax. She also has some digestion issues going on. Her digestive tract is completely off. And I just want to say that if she's been trying to lose weight, she hasn't. She hit a plateau.
What the? Girl, get out of here.
I'm just saying.
Get out of here.
Yeah. And the reason is because her body was not lined up. So when you are when you're working on losing weight, chiropractic adjustments should definitely be a part of your regimen, because as your body changes, the stress in your joints changes. So you need to match that change. Just like you say, you want to match my energy, match the change in your body and get adjusted.
Wow.
Put your
People will practice just by saying that.
Right.
Look how far she was able to turn her. Y'all can't see this.
Right.
Notice how far you turned your head. Oh, with ease. She's like, oh, it's a new dimension over here. Push back right shoulder. Relax. Shrug your shoulders.
Who would have thought that getting treatment would be fun? I mean, I'm kicking it over there.
Yeah, I know, right? This is how it sounds in my office on a regular basis.
Okay.
Turn your head face down. Look up. Face down. Take your chin to your chest. Face down.
That's looser.
Yeah, she said that's new stuff.
Hmm.
She said, yeah, that's crazy how I went straight to it.
Now, ladies, I do want to say on the show and stuff, if you're watching it, let an experienced professional handle that little adjustment gun. We don't need y'all running around and clicking on your guy middle of the night stuff, trying to say, I'm trying to adjust you. You know, it's like, nah, leave it to the experts. You'll mess around and begin all staple marks and stuff on your back and your arms and stuff.
But all she did is poke with that thing like 4 or 5 times. I can do that.
Yeah, you know.
but I'm going to specific anatomical position points on the body. So, no, I mean, you can guess. You can guess, you know, we can wing a lot of things. Press your face straight down to the floor, relax. We almost finished with her adjustment. Press your face to the floor, relax. Uh-huh. Go ahead and adjust her knees. And then I'm going to have her stand up. All right, I didn't adjust her feet because her body didn't say do anything about her feet. Because even if she's having discomfort in her feet, it's not coming from her feet. That's the other beauty about this chiropractic. You may feel pain in one area, but that area may not be the cause of it. So that's why I look above and below is what they taught in the school. Look above and below the joint, take the actual cause for it instead of in the area that it is causing the pain.
Okay.
Okay. I'm gonna work up her muscles because she's been having some tenderness and some stress in her thighs. So I'm working it up, and then she's gonna stand up. Now, I'm not saying I cure everything. Let me clear that up. I'm not clearing everything, but I am making a difference. And with consistent chiropractic care, you can't just go, I feel good, don't come back. You finish your treatment plans so that it can be lasting results, okay? Go ahead and stand up for me, please.
On average, how many adjustments does it take for somebody to have a lasting result? Just on average, I know every patient is different.
So what I tell people is about 12 to 15 visits, just to give a ballpark, but that depends on how out of line there are. Now in my office, when we're joking, I say, depending on how jacked up you are. But in this case, it's really how out of line. You see I'm glistening.
What
I normally
about
work, you see I have my short sleeves on, right? I wear short sleeves all year round because I'm in here running around this table. I got the fan on. I stay hot.
I know
How
that's
you
right.
feel? What do you,
Hey, Doc, I had a question from somebody that's watching the show. If someone has scoliosis, do you treat them as well? And do they need to have more than 12 to 15 visits or I mean, normal?
it depends on what stage you're in. She just shared with me she has scoliosis.
Okay.
Scoliosis is an ideal patient because we can, if they're at the beginning stages, we can help minimize the curvature. And if you're later in it, we can help give you muscle relief and additional movement for the joints and maintain the health that we can at that time.
Nice. And for those, just a quick question before because you have one more patient or?
Yeah, we're gonna run through, and then I have someone that's gonna come in and give feedback of what it was after their adjustment as a second. So that's the bonus, and then we'll be able to, and it's gonna be quick.
Okay. Yeah, just real quick. For those who have kids, I know he's in the slides ahead about sports injuries. For those who have kids, I mean, what's the average age of the young ones that you take? Or
my youngest patient was 6 weeks.
What?
Wow.
Now, you're like, why would a baby need adjusting? Okay. Out the womb, depending on what kind of labor you had. If it was a very difficult labor, then that baby has stress too. And you're like, well, how do I know if my baby had a stress during the labor? That baby cry all night, don't go to sleep? Wow. Yeah, that baby was 6 weeks old and still not getting more than 2 hours of sleep. So I came in and I adjusted that baby with that Logan basic technique. That baby got 4 hours of sleep within a couple of hours of me adjusting. Wow. That baby got rest, household got rest. So when I adjust family member, and if I'm adjusting the kid, I have to adjust the parent. You cannot adjust the household without adjusting the head of the household because the stress is throughout.
Nice. Thank you. Thank you. All right, we got one more patient.
So I'm gonna get feedback from her about what I didn't go read her body for time's sake, but I did adjust her.
What I was interested in the reading though to know what it
Oh, I can tell you what it said.
Okay.
I didn't have to adjust for her hips. Her hips are not the main issue. Does she feel discomfort in her hips? Occasionally, but that's because there's a muscle that attached in the hip area. But the origin of that muscle is in the lower back. So that's why she has chronic low back pain. Okay. And she has chronic low back pain. She has constant pain in the front of her thighs. Now, she did mention this earlier, but her back just confirmed. She does have pain in her thighs. She does have issues with her bowels as well. She has frequent urination. She may sometimes have pain down her legs, especially with the way her joints were rotated in 2 different positions. She has, she's gassy and bloated. She has issues with her skin. She got some extremely dry skin somewhere. She either have nail changes, hair, scalp issues, what's going on with her. She has stress levels. Her whole body is in stress mode. Her adrenal glands is out of whack. She's dehydrated. She also has some issues with her blood work. Her body's saying she's in a state of anemia as well. She also has her diet is off, so she's not able to metabolize everything that she needs to. She may also have acid reflux and gasiness, burping. She also, okay, so I'm calling it. She has shortness of breath. She has issues with her elbows, wrists, and shoulders at different points of time. She also has some issues with her throat. So occasionally she has sore throats probably. And then her eyes too is also an issue with blurry vision because her sinuses are clogged. They're clogged. And I would do more work if I had more time, but for the sake of this, I did not work on her sinuses. She's been having some issues with her ear. Her jaw is all blind. She has some issues with her jaw. You did too. I just didn't call it on her, but she definitely had jaw issues, and I would typically adjust that as well. And so those are just some of the things that's going on with her body. What do you say?
So I will say, like, I definitely feel lighter. When I first stood up, I was lightheaded, and I was trying to figure out what was going on with that. But I do feel more elongated.
Yes, so her muscles are able to stretch now. They don't have to contract and lightheadedness. When was the last time you've eaten?
We didn't eat today.
First of all, she didn't
At
eat.
all.
And she hasn't eaten anything. You get a you can feel lightheadedness coming up.
Girl,
So
it's 2:30.
Huh?
I say it's almost 2:30. What you?
Yes.
You must go eat right now.
They're gonna go eat, so I'm gonna get them up out of
You
here.
gotta get ready for the event.
Always eat before your adjustment. Rather if it's in the 5 o'clock, this is a teaching moment. Everything's a teaching moment for me. Eat before you get an adjustment. Drink water after every adjustment because that helps flush the toxins out, move the inflammation out so you can urinate it out and get it by you, okay?
Okay, great information.
Thank you.
I appreciate that opportunity.
Oh my God.
I
It
look
was such a
forward to-
blessing.
Thank you.
Such a blessing.
Thank you.
Thank you,
These
Fran.
are authentic
All right, no problem,
reactions.
Roy. Blue and white all day.
So,
I have to bow out. I have an appointment at 3 o'clock, but it was a pleasure meeting you.
Okay.
And I will definitely share your information on my family and friends. And I'm probably to come see you myself. Being back pain. But yeah, I learned a lot, and we thank you for coming on. I do have to exit.
Vamos. Okay, and thank you very much for having me. It was a pleasure meeting you. And I'm to speed this up, Dr. Duncan. I'm going to give me a second. Mr. Jackson.
Hey, Butler, man. I appreciate you getting on the podcast. I know you got another commitment and stuff, so I'll touch base with you offline. But thank you.
We'll do. All right.
Nice meeting you, sir.
Yes,
You
thank
too,
you.
Ms. Bell.
Okay. Hey, Mr. Jackson. So I'm not going to adjust it. So I have Mr. Jackson here. I want to do so that because we're on time. Let me pull up the. I'm 6 feet tall. He might be 6'3". So I can move the camera up. Mr. Jackson came to me last night. It was his first time. He's from out of town.
Okay.
And a family member, a family member of his wanting him to be treated by me. They heard about me, and he was in a lot of pain. And just after his first adjustment, I wanted to give you a chance to see that feedback. I'm going to adjust him after the show, but I want you to get his feedback on his experience for the after an adjustment. And sometimes I tell my patients, hey, don't be surprised if you are drooling and blowing spit bubbles tonight after your adjustment because your body feels so relaxed and able to process on a lower energy scale. So
Yeah, go ahead, brother. Congratulations to the LA Dodgers winning that chip finally.
Shout out to Dodger Nation.
Yeah, Magic finally got his chip.
Yeah, no doubt.
All right, yeah. Just tell us about your experience, brother.
Yeah, be happy to. Just real quick, and I'll be brief. First of all, I'd like to say I do believe in chiropractic care. I've been a patient, but it's been some years. I'm actually traveling here doing business next door in the office next door, but I came here in some real extreme discomfort. And so for me, I was hoping to just try to get through the last these few days that I was here, to get back to try to seek some type of remedy to my discomfort. And so it was recommended. I was in some real extreme discomfort, by the way. And I have some neck issues, some lower back issues, and some issues, pre-existing issues that extended well beyond this week. And so, but because of the extent of my most recent discomfort, I was able to suggest that I just stop by next door just to see if she could do a quick adjustment. And so me, having done chiropractic treatment before, I was shocked and amazed to see that she wasn't going to do all of the twisting, which is what I was more familiar with. And honestly, didn't really think it was going to have so much of a significant impact immediately. I thought maybe after a few days, I might find some relief, but it was almost like instantaneous. I got off the table. I felt a lot better. The pain was, had significantly. So last night, I was probably got some of the best sleep I've had in the last 2 months after my treatment. And so, and then today is just continuously, gradually getting even better. And so what I would like to just share, and I was speaking to Dr. earlier, is that this is some amazing techniques. And I was really amazed at the minimal, I guess it's the light touch.
Yeah, it's a light force.
Yeah, the light force option is a great remedy, because as I mentioned, I'm used to the more traditional method, and this, I was, I wouldn't say skeptical, but I just couldn't really grasp how that was going to be so much more significant than the previous treatment that I had received years before. But it was amazing. It's amazing. I feel great today. Even feel like I grew a couple of inches since I've been here. So I just like to encourage anybody, you get the opportunity. Dr. Peebles, she's a great resource. And I'm just here, as I mentioned, I just met her yesterday. I'm just here for business, but I'm thoroughly happy and pleased and excited about this next opportunity for her to treat me again.
Yeah, you got your own business, brother?
Yeah, I do. I work, I do consulting. I'm doing some developmental consulting with another firm that I'm working with on a huge development project. African-American female developer at that.
Nice.
And so, and I'm here supporting. Yeah, it's a beautiful thing to see them work here and a lot of the work that they're doing around the community. But I'm here supporting their business. And so we just happy to be here and happy to be able to participate on today's podcast.
I appreciate it, brother. And you know what? I would like, Doc, if you wouldn't mind getting his contact information, we'd definitely love to get you on the show, man. We try to feature as many Black businesses, Black
Absolutely.
people, man. I mean, we're not a lot of celebrities in our IG and everything like that and stuff, but we definitely need to start showing more of us, what we do, and share these experiences and stuff so we can start motivating and encouraging young folk to go ahead and, and pursue their dreams and stuff, and see that there are other opportunities well beyond what we traditionally have been exposed to. So definitely love to have you on, and thank you for sharing that experience.
Much love to you. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Have a good day. Can I have my hand?
Oh yeah, I'm sorry.
That was all. All right, man. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right.
And those are all genuine reactions, and I really wanted to bring that to this podcast, that these are, I feel like a commercial. These are real people with real results. But
right.
I wanted it to be authentic. I can tell you something all day long, but to see someone before and after is priceless in my mind. It's priceless. So yeah, I'm gonna just we can go into the book so that we can close out your podcast and not keep people too long.
No, I think this is interesting and stuff. And, if people are wondering how did this came about, we actually just put this together on the fly.
We really did. We just were having a conversation.
Yep.
And then this is the product.
Yeah. I mean, it's just kind of one of those things and stuff. I was like, yo, you want to get on the podcast? And I mean, really, that kind of stands for anybody. I mean, this is our voice, so this is more
how we grow. This is how we grow our network.
Absolutely. I mean, I already could tell you right now, just from a couple of text messages I received, you're going to get some more clients just on the strength of this, which will grow exponentially because once they start coming to you, Dr. Peebles, then, you know, you get the referrals going and stuff like that. So, you know, hey, if you're a Black business, or, you know, if you want to, you know, speak on certain topics or whatever the case may be, just reach out to me or Terrence Butler, and or even Charlotta Spicer, you know, and just, you know, we'll definitely try to get you slotted in, you know, because we definitely want to highlight your story, your voices. So definitely appreciate it. So, Dr.
How do we contact you?
Oh, how do you contact me? Yeah, sure. So you could contact me at my regular page is Terrence Duncan, Terrence, Duncan. My professional Facebook page is Dr. Terrence Duncan, but I also have a website, www.drtduncan.com. You can actually find a podcast. You find my bio and my contact information as well. Normally I teach like, let's say about 10 to 12 classes at a time. At the doctoral level, I teach business, healthcare, economics, and subject matter expert on a couple of areas. And also I do consulting. So yeah, I mean, it's just, you know, like I said, this is more so for providing people a voice. This is something fun, actually, because I mean, I could really be situated doing everything I'm doing and not do this, but I just saw this as an opportunity to give people like Dr. Peebles and the brother that was just speaking earlier, just an opportunity to amplify their voices, and also, you know, it's free media exposure. So we control the narrative on this podcast, and that's the intent of the show. So this podcast is actually our podcast, not just my podcast. So
Wonderful.
Thank you, Ms. Bell. So we'll go ahead and go and close out about the book. I mean, I think it's really interesting because of the fact that we talked about lifestyle modalities. It's something that stood out in the research. It connects to your book, and also you were able to do a live body reading. You are the body whisperer, because I'm going to set me up an appointment myself. But you know, just to be able to have patients live and kind of see where they're going. Kind of is really a nice segue about your book. So tell us about your book. Sex Sent Me to the Chiropractor. It's available on Amazon. Go ahead, Doc. This is the floor is yours. Go ahead and speak about your book. What led you to write it, and you could even, if you want to share that story about, you know, like that conference or whatever that you did way back in February, March. You know, I think that's a great story to share as well. So go ahead and take the floor.
Okay, so Sex Sent Me to the Chiropractor. The title does get your mind going, like, ooh, what can I have done that sexually, etc., that will send me to the chiropractor? But the book is not only about sexual acts. It's not that raunchy. It was an opportunity for me to teach in a way about chiropractic. If you were going to read a book about a chiropractor, you would have done it by now. And when it comes to marketing, there are three main areas that marketing tends to grab its audience. It's either through money, drugs, or sex. And so with money, you already think we cost a lot. So I'm not going to come and try to explain and tell you about how beautiful and how wonderful chiropractic is from the money angle. That doesn't make sense. I'm not going to come to you about drugs, because by definition, by our profession, we treat the body without using any medication. So the last area will be sex. And a lot of people are concerned about their performance, and it gets you excited. Your mind starts going places, your imagination's going. So Sex Sent Me to the Chiropractor. All right, let's start the conversation. But in the book, I'm not only talking about sex, I'm actually talking about the sexual reproductive system and the benefits of chiropractic adjustments on the sexual reproductive system. So in there, you're actually following 8 characters that are at a chiropractic weekend retreat. Half of the characters, about half of them, are actual chiropractic patients, while the other half have never ever attended or never ever been to a chiropractor. So they're there learning about chiropractic, while the other ones are learning more about chiropractic. So you follow them on a 3-day weekend. It is set in Potosi, Missouri, at a camp lodge there, a campground there. And so with this particular storyline, as you follow these different 8 lives that are individual, some of them are connected, but you find them coming together and actually developing relationships. You see some relationships fall out during this weekend retreat. And I'm covering health topics such as menstrual cycles. You follow a character that has extreme bleeding and how she eventually gets some relief or get some treatment from, get relief and improve with chiropractic adjustments. We have people that are pregnant, so you learn about pregnancy in chiropractic, erectile dysfunction. You have people dealing with low libido. So these areas are all covered in the book, plus some others, and how chiropractic actually benefits and help those particular scenarios in the book. So that's just part one in the developing series.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. Yeah, Dr. Peebles, it's funny because I think that's how our conversation first started, was just kind of marketing the book, because I have 2 books myself. For those who can see the live stream, you can see the the placard and the books in the background. And so that's how our conversation originally started, was how to market the book. And it's just, I guess Dr. Peebles, I guess you can agree too, and stuff like, don't be afraid to open your mouth, because, and self-promote. I mean, for real, it's like, let me rephrase it. Don't be afraid to self-promote.
Sorry, you left right open.
I know.
Another feature, the nutritional aspect. She teaches nutrition as well, which is major when we talk about the human body.
Absolutely. And, and the thing is, like I said, about just everything that she does and stuff. I mean, I'm learning more and more about her as she is about myself, and definitely relationship. I see that's going to continue to be nurturing and growing and stuff. So, just like I said, it all started off about the book, and we just talked about other topics, and, we just continued to build each other up and bounce ideas off each other. And, I wish you much success on the book, How Sex Sent Me to the Chiropractor. And like I said, I know that you got some referrals coming on your way, because Mr. Butler is going to be coming. I know I'll be there. And I know a couple other people that's just, expressed their interest and stuff. And, definitely will continue to, like I said, this video is also yours to share as necessary. And Dr. Peebles, man, it's dope. It's pretty awesome and stuff. I know we talked about it for months, and I try to stay true to my word as often as possible by saying, I'm going to get you on this podcast. I'm going to get you in this podcast. And the timing was just right. This is a very different experience, but I think it was very enlightening as well. I think it was really, it was pretty awesome. I'm going to look back on how you just did the feet and then all of a sudden, the vision is improved, and, you got your feet aligned and everything like that. And that's just, it's really awesome. Do you have in closing, do you have a message to any young, well, actually, one quick question before we close. What is the percentage of, if you could take a rough estimate, of women to men actually being seen by a chiropractor, by your services? And also, what do you think are the biggest obstacles for seeking out your type of services?
Well, percentage-wise, I would say it's about 55% women, okay, and then 45% men that comes to me. But the numbers are changing as the conversations are changing with their loved ones. So generally, my females will come in before the men, but that is not always the case. Sometimes I have men that come in first and then bring in the whole family. And that's an example of the head of the household bringing in and being a guidance for the rest of their family. Now, one of the things that is a hindrance, that's a roadblock for people, is because they don't know. You don't know what you don't know. And therefore, if you're not motivated in some fashion to seek it, then you won't necessarily go for it. And then there's a matter of education on our part as doctors of chiropractic, so that they're able to go out and continue the conversation, and that is how we get the rest of the family in.
Awesome, great. And the reason why I asked that was because I did note that in your bio, when I introduced you, you did say that you tackle healthcare disparities. And just real quick, what is, I guess, could you explain that a little bit more before we close?
Absolutely. When I say I'm tackling healthcare disparities, I am actually a component. I actually co-treat with local doctors, cardiovascular doctors. For example, I have a patient who we're working on their blood flow. Well, while the medical doctors are taking care of their aspect, I'm taking care of the neurological aspect and making sure the peripheral nerves are working as they should, because they matter as much as a part of the health of that organ. If the brain cannot communicate to that part of your body, then that organ cannot work very well. Just like if you're a part of the vine, and you'll kind of be able to understand this, anybody that's a part of the vine is whole, but once you leave the vine, then you tend to die on your own. So, and you can fill in the blanks around that. So the spinal nerves are the same thing. The spinal nerves attached to the spinal cord. The spinal cord connects to the brain. The brain controls the whole body. And as long as the communication between the two is intact, then the body can do what it needs to do. So I'm helping. I don't treat on my own, but I co-treat for conditions that are dealing with diabetes. I co-treat for issues dealing with cardiovascular issues or high blood pressure. So that's what I mean by I tackle the disparities, especially in the African-American community with my care. I give nutritional advice. I give lifestyle advice and changes. I make you aware of what you're doing that is harmful. For example, a lot of people don't realize just how harmful sitting is. And I constantly break down, okay, you're putting your hip into flexion when you sit in this type of chair, or if you're sitting in the bed. So I make you aware. I always taking advantage of that opportunity to teach you something new when you leave out of here. So if you come in with a certain symptom, I say, hey, is this what you're doing? Because this is what your body is suggesting. Then let me show you how to do it better, or how to eliminate that. And let me give you something to put in place of. So I don't just take away, I find something to fill it.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. Well, in closing, like I said, it's definitely been a great experience, for myself, and I'm pretty sure the audience, and, for those who were able to see it live, or even those who just got on Facebook and just seeing somebody getting their back adjusted all of a sudden, like what the hell's going on? Hopefully you're able to kind of replay the podcast, replay the video, and be able to see what happened, or at least be able to hear the patient experiences. And like I know Butler had to get off the phone. He said it's almost like a live TV show. And, it's pretty fun to be able to expand, the podcast at this level, and be able to, show experiences like this, because these are the experiences that we don't really get to see or discuss on a regular basis. Dr. Peebles, thank you for contributing to the Black community, because you are one of 2.3% of Black chiropractors in the United States. I mean, that's, just think about that. I mean, you're a very rare individual, and your accomplishments definitely needs to be touted. And just last comments to any kind of young Black men and Black women who are interested in going to the program. Do you have any parting words of advice or anything like that in closing?
Well, if there is anyone who's interested in becoming chiropractors, I encourage you. We do need you. We do need our representation. There's nothing like being able to speak to a doctor who can relate to where you're coming from, where you're coming. That is very important, because the dialogue is different. There's language, not that you can't speak with anyone, but there's the relatability. So we need you. It would be great if you would join our profession. And once you do that, you're going to always have to dig down and remind yourself why you're doing it, because it will get challenging. The road is definitely not straight. It will be jagged. There will be some ups and downs. You're going to cry. You're going to sweat. There are going to be so much going on. And you're really just under fire to find out what you're really capable of. And I wouldn't change my experience. I had a great experience at Logan. I've really, really blossomed. I learned a lot of different perspectives. But as you do become a chiropractor, I will say, research your schools. Don't walk into that class and have to put your pants down. But that's not the takeaway from that. But Logan was very phenomenal in what it taught me. But I also learned while I was there that other schools have different techniques going on. So study that as well as you're looking into your schools. Look at your location, look at your demographics. All of that matters when you're choosing not only a chiropractic university, but any school that you're going forwards to. Just keep that in mind. You're going to always have to encourage yourself. Yes. And that's a gospel song I've played plenty of times, even as I am in business, that I'm going to have to encourage myself. One thing you'll have to understand is, as you're going through school as a chiropractor, everybody is not going to understand what you're going through. But regardless if it's in life or chiropractic school or any school, No one has to understand what you're going through. Only you need to understand. It is your journey and yours alone for a reason. So you're going to have to learn to trust and have faith in yourself, have faith in the higher power that you believe in or don't. But you're going to have to learn to dig deep into yourself and keep pushing yourself. It's great to have someone to encourage you, but you're going to have to dig deep into yourself, learn what you stand for so that you don't fall for anything, and be your best self.
That's dope. That's dope. And just to add to that and stuff, you know, because the journey is definitely not easy, especially being of color. And you're going to have people that's going to, you know, challenge you, even among your own community. So, you know, I don't want to make everything black and white or, you know, or racial, you know, discontent. But the reality is and stuff that you have to look at it from Dr. Peebles' perspective, or even from my perspective. There's not a lot of black professors with a business degree. There's not a lot of black doctors with a chiropractic degree. But you know, one thing that we do say is that the journey was definitely worth it, and that the investment that we did, even though mine was phenomenally high, the byproduct and just the opportunities that came after that, you know, you ask yourself, is it worth the investment? And I'm very big on education. Doesn't necessarily have to have a doctoral degree, but you know, Dr. Peebles would definitely love to have you on probably near the springtime, so we can kind of talk about, you know, get other people who've had certain careers and just kind of talk about it. You know, before we do the career fair, let's have a career fair amongst each other and talk about our experiences. So definitely would love to have you back on again later. That's basically it for today. And it's definitely been a great experience. Once again, if you are interested in seeking Dr. Peebles' services, it is at Pro Health Chiropractic. It's in the Central West End in the St. Louis area. The address is 5621 Delmar, Suite 106, St. Louis, Missouri, 63112. And her phone number is 314-607-9150. And her website is www.stlprohealth.com, all one word. And her book is Sex Sent Me to the Chiropractor on Amazon. Dr. Peebles, phenomenal. Appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All
Thank
right.
you. And
Absolutely.
enjoy the rest of your day.
All right. And this is Dr. Duncan signing out from the episode. Next week, we'll have Marcus Creighton. He will be talking about financial literacy next Saturday from 12:30 to 2 o'clock. Same thing. It's going to be simulcast on Facebook, as well as being recorded for the audio. Dr. Duncan signing out.